Guys, this is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful car. That's right, guys. We are in a completely brand new location, never done before on this channel. We are taking a wonderful hike, and you know, I've had this idea probably for a little bit now, and I'm really glad to finally get to put it into action, guys. I haven't hiked in quite a bit, honestly, if you couldn't tell. I'm a little out of breath, I'm a little sweaty, my hair's all messy, you know. We are truly in the thick of it, guys. And that's what it's all about. That's what hiking's all about, you know. So I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong, you know. And I had a few things I wanted to talk about in this video. One thing I wasn't expecting to talk about is sometimes when you are getting ready to film, getting things in order, you have a plan, you have a rough kind of plan sort of mapped out. Sometimes the unexpected happens, and in that moment you have to truly begin to ask yourself, do I want to say fuck it and pack it up, go home, replan, do this another day? Which sometimes that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad thing if you really feel like you just weren't prepared and you can do this better another day with more planning. But if you have that little voice in your head and it's saying, fuck this, I want to record, I want to get something on camera, no matter what happens, then you have to listen to that voice, because that means something, It's raining. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's raining, and it wasn't raining until I started to record. And that's just another example of an unexpected thing happening that you can't predict, which that wasn't even what I had in mind. Let me show you guys. I brought a backpack with me. Check this out. I have some things, right, that I want to bring out for the video. I get my backpack, I go to grab it. Boom! Can you see that? Can you see this? Boom! This is a whole container of the backpack just completely split down the middle. I was not prepared for that, right? But I said, fuck it, we'll keep going. So I've been, here, let me show you. I've been just carrying the backpack like this, because that's what you got to do, But, and you'll see in a second, actually here, yeah. This is a good time to pause, set myself down in a better location, maybe shade myself from the hail and the rain, and I'll pick up with you guys in just a second, all right? All right, thankfully, the rain has loosened up just a little bit, but what I was saying is, the weather, equipment malfunctioning, those are things that you can't really anticipate, but you can, deal with them, One thing that you cannot strictly anticipate is your own stupidity. And in this instance, these things come in threes, okay? And in this instance, one of the things that I fucked up on was I brought some nice, wonderful cigarettes to enjoy, but something many of you may not realize is that if you're going to be smoking a cigarette, you need a lighter You need a lighter, guys. And if you hike for an hour to get to a spot, and then you start to settle down to get ready to record, and then you realize that you did not grab the lighter from your car, that's not you. That's bad. That's bad. You can't smoke if you do that. And that's a lesson I had to learn. So, once again, you have to face yourself, and you have to think, am I just gonna go home, or am I going to hike all the way back down just to go to my car, just to grab one thing, to hike all the way back up to record a video? And if you're seeing this now, you have your answer. But guys, I didn't just bring some cigarettes. I also brought some brewskis. Pabst Blue Ribbon! Extra 6.5% ABV. So that'll be nice. I've been looking online for beers that have a high alcohol content, and it's like, and there aren't a lot, and the ones that there are, they're super expensive, or they're no longer being made, which I don't understand. I don't understand why you would be advertising these things if I can't even get my fucking hands on them, man. It's very frustrating. I might set up in a different location just because the rain really has cooled down. I'm underneath a tree right now, but it feels a little cramped, and I want more space, I think, just to look around. So, guys, sorry for the pauses. I will be right back. Okay. All right, we're back. I'm not a super big fan of this angle. I've been messing with it. I'm gonna see if I can get something going that's more kind of level. Let's see. Yeah, that's not bad. Am I sitting in mud? Yes. Have I ever been in love? Yes. Okay. Let's chill, guys. We're out hiking. It's a nice day, and we're just here to enjoy ourselves. I don't know if I'm gonna record myself just going through the whole thing. I might be pausing. I'm not really sure. I had some things I wanted to talk about. You're gonna see that a lot. You're gonna see a lot of me starting to feel comfortable, and then being like, I shouldn't be getting this comfortable, and then you're just gonna have to deal with it. Maybe I'll cut some of it out. Maybe I won't. It depends. I mean, big news. Big news. It's the start of a new... Oh my god. It's the start of a new year, guys. I mean, that is exciting. I've been thinking a lot about New Year's, and I never really put much stock into it personally. I never really was one to make like resolutions and things like that. And not for any particular reason. It's just not my style, I guess. I don't know. It's never really been something that seemed to matter all that much to me. But lately, there's something has changed within me. I've been noticing it more with Christmas. It started with Christmas. I never used to be that big of a Christmas head, but this last go around, the lights, the music, you know, the snow, the atmosphere, it really got to me. And I was like, man, I fucking love Christmas. And I, good God, I think there's just some kind of change happening with me getting older. You know, I think that's normal, but I didn't anticipate this change to come about in such a way. My throat's really dry, guys. I didn't anticipate changing as you get older to manifest in really liking Christmas, you know, or this. I think this is more of a me thing. I've been blowing my nose a lot. I never used to be a nose blower. I never would duck into bathrooms to grab toilet paper and blow my nose, but I'm finding myself doing that at least twice a day now, and I'm not really sure what that's all about. But another way that I think being older has changed my mentality is with New Year's. I found that my outlook towards New Year's has changed in this way to where I'm not, you know, a person that's like completely on board of like, I'm gonna turn my whole life around. This the new year is a new me. That's not really what I'm getting at. I think I'm more looking at it as in the way of, you know, I think setting goals and expectations of yourself that you expect yourself to stick to is healthy, you know, and there's levels to it where, you know, this is out. You know, you don't want to. You can't be like, by the end of the year, I am going to lift 500 pounds, you know, or like, I will be a millionaire, you know. There is a certain level of completability that you should be ascribing to the goals that you set yourself, but I think it's good just in the sense of, you know, especially as you get older, when you kind of transition out of that state of going to school, living with your parents, things like that, those circumstances naturally come with expectations, right? And even if, no matter what you do, your life is centered around those expectations. And even if you're like, fuck that, I'm not gonna go to college, I'm not gonna go to class, all this shit, well, you're still adhering to the expectations set upon you by the school system. You're just failing them. You know what I mean? It's this thing that operates on a level outside of the material, right? It's It's just kind of this fact of life, you know, which is really weird to grow up with that. But once you're out of that and you're in a world where it's complete, I don't want to say like chaos, you know, but a lot of the boundaries, it's like bowling. It's like bowling. You've been playing with the bumpers up, right? And then boom, they're gone. And you can just be fucking throwing gutter balls your whole life, man. But that's what the expectations and goals that you set for yourself can help you avoid. It can help you get a strike, okay? It can help you get a spare. That's what I'm saying. It's good to want to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, then what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You know? And why would anyone want to believe in you? You know, people complain about, I don't know, male loneliness epidemic, incels, femcells, you know, all these different types of celibates, right? And a part of it is like, oh, this generation, no one, you know, people don't connect anymore. People don't, you know, but all this shit. You know, maybe it's because a lot of the people, you included, might not be the best person to connect with, because you're such a fucking downer all the time, where you are just convinced that you are in a world of shit where nothing is ever going to go right, and so what's the point? And it's like, and don't get me wrong, I understand the sentiment, okay? But the world at large is so bad that you, on an individual scale, can't muster up the ability to give a shit about your own life. I mean, that's ridiculous. That, to me, is completely ridiculous. And it speaks to this sense of, I don't think the person that feels that way doesn't really care about how bad the world is. They find any evil in the world as a perfect excuse to rationalize their own lack of ability, if that makes any sense. That's how I feel. And I don't want to be that kind of person. I want to be someone where an outside, you know, party could look at my life and what I'm doing, and they could objectively say that I am doing everything I can to live the most fulfilled life that I could at any given moment. Do I always succeed at that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, okay? And that's fine. I'm not saying that any amount of failure is an automatic disqualification. I guess I'm saying that as long as you get back on that horse and fucking actually try to do something with yourself, you're doing better than 99% of other people. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, and I think the new year is a great opportunity to really, really push yourself give yourself a time frame of you have so many weeks, so many months, 1 calendar year. Can you make sure that within that time, within that 1 year, that rotation of the earth around the sun, can you make sure that your life 1 year from now is better than it is right now? And I don't think that's really all that difficult, personally. You know? And you should care about yourself. You should care about yourself. Guys, tell me if I'm crazy, 'cause I might just be mistaken. What? Is that a fucking animal? Is that a fucking animal? This might be a bad idea. Ow! That's a fucking creature. Is that a moose? Holy fuck, is that a moose? What the fuck? Oh shit. Oh fuck. Hello YouTube. Today we are smoking a Black and Mild, nice price, Jazz. I've never had a Black and Mild before. Also, real quick, just check out the view. Had to grind for this view. Had to grind for this view, guys. Look at that. My stuff, it's all the way, it's down there. It's this little, yeah, you can see the backpack. It's all the way down there because I was going to film kind of on that rock, but then I had to look behind me and I'm like, well, that's a nice view. I should go up there to record. So I did. I came all the way up here so that I could record myself smoking, for the first time in history, a Black and Mild. So I'm pretty excited. I'm probably gonna pause this so I can open it and get it lit and everything. But yeah, we're just gonna give it a run through, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, so first impressions, it has like a thing on the front of it, and just putting it in your mouth, there's a flavor already, which is interesting. It's pretty long. It's longer than most cigarettes. Does that mean, is this a cigarillo? What is a cigarillo, honestly? Hang on. It's a little windy. All right, once it's lit, it burns very good. There's a nice flavor to it. I don't know, and this is probably gonna piss people off. I don't know if you're supposed to hold in, the smoke, or if you're, or what. I've recently discovered I may be smoking cigarettes the wrong way. It's a whole thing, I can't really get into it. But regardless of that, with a cigarillo or a cigar, you hold it in? You hold it in. That's insane to me. 'Cause it's like, what are you even doing? You're smoking it for the flavor? Why? I don't understand why. And it's like, oh, it's expensive, it's like a class thing. But like, you can't find better things to do with the money that you're spending on cigars that would still show that you're a rich guy. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because I'm looking at smoking from the perspective of you're doing it to get some kind of high, like a body high, like Zins, when you fucking put a Zin in your fucking mouth, when you fucking cheek it, when you pouch it, that shit, and you're like, oh damn, my head is spinning, I want to vomit, this is terrible. That's what you're trying to achieve with a cigarette, because if you can get through that initial feeling, you're like, my body feels invincible and I can run a marathon without breathing. Like, you know, it's that level of body high. And for the longest time, I thought that's what a cigar would attain, but on a greater volume, because it's so much bigger and wider. But come to find out, it's just a flavor thing. You're smoking it to taste. What are you fucking tasting? Leaves? Are you insane? Are you fucking crazy? I don't get it at all. And then there's something called a cigarillo, which I don't entirely understand what a cigarillo is. Is it a cigarette or is it a cigar? Or it's in between? What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Can you tell me what that means? It's like someone trying to explain finances to you without revealing the fact that finances is complete bullshit. You're like, okay, so inflation, what's up with that? And they're like, yeah, you know, the money, we make more of it and it becomes less. And it's like, why do we make it so much more? And it's like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. That's what cigarillos are like to me. It's this undefinable thing where you're just like, what the fuck is happening? Who's buying cigarillos? You know what I mean? It's either cigars or cigarettes. And then there's some freak third party, some reptilian Illuminati party that buys fucking cigarillos, and they're like, yes, this is the shit. We're getting body highs that you could never even dream of, and it tastes good. And it's like, what the fuck is happening in this world, in this crazy fucked up world? Whew. Okay, guys, we are here with the ominous lighting, the downward angle. I feel like a Final Fantasy villain. Listen, I've had a great hike. This was largely an excuse to go on a hike, and I hope that the video itself is good. You know, but I started off talking about New Year's and New Year's resolutions. And some of you may still have some preconceived notions about the validity of having New Year's resolutions, which I'm not here to argue about. Everyone's decision ultimately is their own choice. And there's nothing you can do to convince another person. It has to be a decision that they come to themselves, you know? And some of you may think New Year's resolutions are fucking stupid. Which is fine. But I've been thinking, and, you know, I said earlier, you know, having these super lofty goals where they're kind of just unattainable by default, it's not how a resolution should be made. I think I watched this video a long time ago. It's a good video by this guy called CGP Grey. There's geese. I don't know if you can hear the geese. I watched a video a long time ago by this guy called CGP Grey. And he talked about giving your new year a theme. Instead of having these super specific goals that can add so much pressure to your life that already has all this stress, having just a general theme for how you want to outline your year is better in the long run in terms of achieving goals. Which it sort of reminds me of this thing when you're raising children, where, you know, a lot of parents, you know, they want their kids to be popular, you know, to to be involved in things, to be happy, essentially. And that's not a bad thing to want. But sometimes when you're raising a kid and your kid shows interest in something, let's say, archery or martial arts or something like that, if you see that they're interested in this thing, and then your reaction is to fund it, essentially. They're into archery, so it's like, okay, let's buy you a really nice bow and arrow and all this stuff. It can react in a negative way, where the kid feels so much pressure from how much you have invested in their hobby or thing that they, that they're just trying out. They're just experimenting. If they see all this investment, they'll feel more pressure to commit to it. And in the end, they'll bail on that thing because there's too much pressure. And I think you can do that to yourself when it comes to a resolution, where if your resolution is something that's crazy, like I said earlier, lifting 500 pounds, running a mile in 3 minutes, these sorts of things where they're attainable by a human standard, but on an individual level, there's so much work that has to go into it. You end up bailing, and you feel like shit, and you get convinced, oh, resolutions are fucking pointless, right? But if you give yourself just a very rigidity. People think that having a solid, rigid structure to their life is the goal to a lot of things. And it's not that they're wrong. It's just that, what the fuck is it? There's some Chinese fucking, some metaphor or whatever. If you do not bend, you break. People don't allow themselves to bend, right? Americans, I think, specifically. Americans, I think, they've been taught that you need to work towards a specific, attainable goal, right? And where that falls short is that it doesn't account for the personal, the individual idiosyncrasies that can lead you to, failure, right? And failure, and I think another American thing is that failure is deemed as the end. If you fail your goal, it's over, and you've failed, and everything has been pointless. And I don't think that's true. If you think about it in terms of death, of life and death, right? We die, and some people say we go to hell, we go to heaven. Other people, and that's a winning or a losing kind of mentality. Other people say we die, and for a time we're placed in this middle place in between life and death, and then we're sent back into the world to give it another shot. And I think that's a healthier way of looking at failure, where if you fail, it doesn't mean that you should give up. It means that you should work on where your weaknesses were so that eventually, one day, you can succeed. And that's why I think, good Lord, that's why I think that outlining your year with a theme is a better idea. And so, me personally, my theme for this year, I want to be growth and abundance. And I can apply, because it's something I can apply to every asset of my life. Happiness. I want growth and abundance. My financial standing. I want growth and abundance. The people in my life that I love and that I care about, I want their lives to grow and to be abundant. Do you get what I'm saying? Detaching yourself from this super individualistic, personal sense of thinking where everything revolves around you is better because it gives you allowance to forgive yourself and to forgive those around you and to understand that we're all working, hopefully, towards bettering ourselves. You know, I haven't recorded a video in 6 months. That's half a year of not picking up a camera and pressing record and just talking into it. And for every single day of those past 6 months, all that I've thought about is doing exactly that. And so, I don't know what it is, where it's something almost magical, where on just this specific day, at this specific time, you know that it's the right thing to do to go out, to take a day to yourself and just talk and just be yourself. Dare I say, for the first time in 6 months. And maybe not many people can relate to that kind of thought process. But you know, I've been making videos since I was in YouTube videos. Since I was in probably 3rd grade. My old channel's still out there. People know about it. I used to make Vines. You know, that doesn't sound that crazy, but it's like I used to make Vines hoping that I could be somebody that people watched and followed and commented on Vine. You know, there's this desire for connection and for understanding that I think exists in all of us. And it's like a base desire. It's like a force of nature, something that is just it needs to exist for life to exist, like gravity or like time, you know, or physics. It's this force where people, human beings, they want to connect. But there are so many things that happen in place of connection. This sort of fear of letting another person understanding who you are on the deepest level possible. Letting a person into your life, into your inner monologue, into who you are fundamentally. There's a fear of that which drives all of this, like, clavicular getting frame mogged by an ASU frat leader. People caring about looks maxing and frame mogging. You know, people where those sorts of things are just as tangible to their lives as space and as matter. Where a frame mog to them is as true as the relativism of time to a physicist, you know, to a person studying the stars. To those two people, you know, the lifespan, the heat death of a star is as true to the fundamental material of the universe as clavicular getting frame mogged by the ASU frat leader. Those two people, they believe in these things to the same degree, but in their belief, they have separated themselves by levels, by magnitudes, by an ocean's worth of belief, of the way that they view reality itself. And I just think if the NASA scientist studying a quasar and the Instagram reel commenter typing skull emojis underneath clavicular getting frame mogged, if those two people could understand each other on a fundamental level, I think there'd be so much happiness, so much joy and love and understanding in the world. Honestly, I want to make it abundantly clear that, whatever message you take away from this video, ultimately, I'm so happy right now. I feel so good. It's been the longest time since I've been able to go out and walk around in the woods and just feel very connected to myself. And I feel very grateful for, not only the people that are willing to sit through each of these videos, but also to myself, ultimately. Grateful to myself for being willing to take this chance and just go out and explore and give myself the freedom to just express how I feel in a way that I just haven't been able to in a very, very long time. Just being alone and just able to talk and think about how life has molded me and affected me, in these 6 months. Because, the title, these videos are called Talking to Myself. And, I mean, it's true. I make these videos, I make them public, but the audience is myself. The intended audience is me, and sometimes, I'll listen to these videos and it'll remind me, where I've come, who I used to be, and who I am now. And it just feels very comforting to know that I recognize this person in the video, but I know that I'm on a different sort of wavelength than them, which feels comforting in the way of just knowing that I'm growing as a person, and oh my gosh, it's so dark out. Look. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my god. Yeah, the camera's pointed at me right now. I don't know if you can see. Look. There are the woods. The woods are in front of me. I have to make my way. Thankfully, I've just been going in one direction, but I have to make my way back onto the trail. I'm sort of off the trail right now, and then I gotta walk back. That'll probably be like an hour of just walking. But it's it's fun because I've basically already gone this distance, so doing it again isn't such a big deal. And that's how I feel about recording these videos. I always feel so anxious to hit the record button, and then I press it, and it just feels very natural to just be able to talk and just express myself, which I'm also very thankful for. So hopefully you'll get more videos this year. I have a few in mind that I want to make, like ones that are like scripted and not just kind of off the dome like these ones are. Which I guess it'll be like a new series on the channel between talking to myself and then just these scripted videos, like YouTube style videos, which will be fun. But I feel pretty good about ending it here because it's getting a little dark, and I'm not gonna have to use my flashlight yet. But if I stay out any longer, like, you know, an hour and a half longer, I definitely will have to. So I'm gonna cut it off here, but I really appreciate just getting the chance to just share and just talk about things, about how I feel. And anyone that's watched this far, I really appreciate you watching this far. And I've been trying to say this in newer videos. You should just make your own YouTube videos. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world to do, and it's so lethargic, I guess. Or I don't know how to put it into words. It just feels great to just talk and then just upload it and then not think about it. So I encourage anyone that watches this to do the same. And I'm gonna go away now. I'm gonna go walk back to the car. I might do a recap when I get back to the car. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, it's been really nice just talking, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.